Hello and welcome to the DX Corner for your weekly dose of DX. I'm Bill, AJ8B. Each week I try to focus on those entities that will be available in the next 7 days. There's so much data to sift through that I thought a focus on the next week might be helpful. And I got to give you a hint, if you're really into filling band slots, the next couple weeks and then first week in November is a great time to do that. And the reason is, upcoming is the CQ Worldwide Sideband Contest. And when these guys go to these new islands or they go to different places, they get on the air the week before, if they can, to test their equipment, and then they get on the week after. So sometimes you can get them easily without going through the contest. Here's what you should find QRV when you tune the bands this week. The following DX information comes from Bernie, W3UR, editor of the DailyDX, the WeeklyDX, and the How's DX column in QST. If you would like a free 2-week trial of the DailyDX, your only source of real-time DX information, just drop me a note at thedxmentor@gmail.com. Several listeners and viewers have done that, and I've been able to hook them up. So if you want to give it a try, it's thedxmentor@gmail.com. During the Scouts Jamboree on the Air, or JOTA, October 18th and 19th, special call sign E2 JOTA will be active from Thailand. JOTA is an annual event in scouting that facilitates global communication among scouts through amateur radio. It is held in conjunction with Jamboree on the Internet, or JOTI, on the third full weekend of October each year. So depending on when you're listening to this, you may still have time to get Thailand in the log. Chris, VK2YUS, is QRV is YJ0CA from Port Vila, Vanuatu until October 24th. He's using sideband only. Most of his operating will take place between 2100 Zulu and 1000 Zulu. For full QSL details, visit his website on QRZ.com under the call VK2YUS. As a reminder, VE7BV Dwight is QRV from Guatemala, where he is operating holiday style as TG9BBV until October 25th. Activity is on CW, sideband, and FT8 on 7 MHz through 50 MHz. QSL director via the Bureau to VE7BV and LOTW. The Rebel DX group is QRV from Niue as Echo 6 Alpha Delta. For the first weeks, the emphasis will be on FT4 and MSHV SuperFox. The entire operation will emphasize digital NCW with a, quote, little sideband mixed in as well, end quote. Dave, Golf 4 Whiskey X-Ray Juliet, gives word of his next ZC4 UK Sovereign Base Areas on Cyprus activity as Zulu Charlie 4 Romeo Hotel. He'll be operating intermittently while on holiday from Dakilia between November 3rd and 7th. Dave will be running 100 watts using dipoles and an EdFend halfway. Activity will be on CW, sideband, FT8, and FT4 on 40 meters through 6 meters. Now, I know I said the next 7 days, but I want to point this one out, the November 3rd through the 7th, because although ZC4RH isn't rare, it is not at all common. So if you have a chance to work them, do it. So you might want to put that one in your calendar. A multinational team will be on the air from Gingerbread Hill in St. Peter's on Montserrat for the CQ Worldwide DX Single Sideband Contest. They still have 1 to 3 operating positions open if you're interested. Most of the team will be there from October 22nd to 28th, so this upcoming week, with Irina and Ralph staying a few more days afterwards. During the contest, they will be operating as VP2 MPN on 80 through 10 meters in a multi-op effort. And you can QSL via VP2 MPN via Kilo Bravo 4 Yankee Papa November and eventually LOTW. The 425 DX News reminds us that 3 Baker 9 stroke M0CFW Kazu will be QRV from Rodrigues Island October 21 to the 29th, including during the CQ Worldwide DX weekend using the call sign 3 Baker 9 kilowatt. QSL using Logbook of the World and Logbook OQRS. Club Log OQRS. Station 7 Quebec 1 Alpha will be QRV from Malawi between October 18th and the 24th. So hopefully by the time you're listening to this, operating CW and digital and the CQ Worldwide DX single sideband contest with 2 or more stations. Ops say they will have veterans and the fresh energy of a new generation with them. quote, the future of our hobby, end quote. You can QSL 7 Quebec 1 Alpha to 7 Quebec 7 Charlie Tango, or use LOTW or QRZ logbook. Earlier today, the E51 MWA DXpedition team on the North Cook Islands announced that the local town experienced a fire at the power station, resulting in severe damage. The assessment revealed that the village will be without electricity for the next 3 to 4 months. Due to the lack of power, the team has been forced to end their operations early and will begin packing up equipment for return to the United States. The team expressed gratitude to everyone who supported them and participated in QSOs prior to the DXpedition and shared that they already were considering their next DXpedition. The DX Obsessed team is preparing for their 2025 Fox Whiskey 5 Kilo DXpedition to Wallis and Futuna Islands. The group is excited about the trip, with all members packing and finalizing logistics. Team members will depart from Arizona and Oregon, meeting in Dallas, Texas, before flying to Niue, Fiji, then onward to Wallis Island. Arrival in Wallis is scheduled for 2:25 p.m. on Saturday, October 18th. So again, about the time you're listening to this, probably. After a brief rest from travel, the team plans to set up at least one station and begin operation on FT8 and or FT4, aiming to announce their presence late Saturday evening. Despite expected rain on Saturday and Sunday, the team is prepared for weather challenges and hopes to be fully on the air by Sunday morning. Updates will be shared as the DXpedition progresses. Greg, W6IZT, reports that the PJ6Y team is en route and will rendezvous in St. Martin early this afternoon before boarding the short flight to Saba. The entire team is very excited to arrive on the island. A team dinner is planned and setup will begin shortly after sunrise tomorrow. A brief announcement will be sent out once the first stations are on the air. Thanks to everyone for your continued support. We look forward to seeing you in the pileups. And the DX Mentor recently dropped both a podcast and YouTube conversation with Greg Marco, W6IZT, who is heading up that entire DXpedition. So if you want to learn more, give that a listen or a watch. The D2 Alpha DXpedition to Angola, QRV until October 28th, consists of Portuguese and Spanish operators commemorating Angola's 50th anniversary of independence. They plan to have 6 stations on 160 through 6 meters using CW, sideband, RIDI, FT8, and QO100 satellite. 3 stations are for CW, sideband, and digital modes, 1 for single sideband and digital modes, 1 for satellite, and 1 for 6 meters. And all of this can be QSL'd via EA7 FTR. The 5 Kilo Zero Uniform Alpha DXpedition team will arrive on St. Andreas Island between October 15th and the 20th and expects to be on the air October 20 to 30. They will leave the island November 3rd. They plan to operate 160 meters through 10 meters, CW, sideband, and FT8, and will be in the CQ Worldwide DX Contest single sideband. Before and after the contest, they will conduct, quote, regular DX activity. QSL using LOTW or Clublog OQRS. Phil remains active as C21TS from Nauru until the end of November. Then he will be QRT for 2 months and back starting from February 2026. And I suggest that if you need Charlie 2 for your DX marathon for 2025, you better get him now until the end of November because there will be no chance in December. Quote, I'll probably be back for a few months from February 2026 with minimal gear, probably just an FT891. Hard finish will be June 2026 and no later. So if you need him in 2026, you better get him. QSL via M0OXO, OQRS, or LOTW. Bernard, DL2GAC, is once again QRV as H44MS from the Solomon Islands until November 25th, with a small break again between January 25th and April 10th of 2026. Operation from 80 to 6 meters using sideband and FT8. And you can QSL this H44MS via DL2GAC. Maurizio, IK2GZU, is QRV again as 5 Hotel 3 Mike Bravo from Tanzania until November 20th. He returns as a volunteer in the Akalu Hospital in the South Highlands. He will be operating in his spare time on HF using CW, sideband, and digital modes. And you can QSL 5 Hotel 3 Mike Bravo via IK2GZU. Luke, F5RAV is QRV from the Gambia is Charlie 5 Radio until October 31st. Following on from previous visits where the money was raised to build a new classroom for infants, the plan this time is to build two more classrooms and start a radio club to introduce YOTA. Boy, Luke, that is just a great effort, and congratulations and good luck to you. Contest updates. I know that the ARL contest sheet is read elsewhere in this podcast, and the contests that I mention are sometimes redundant. However, there are a few contests that I have found to be especially useful for DXers who are trying to fill band slots or work all-time new ones. The contest that you should be preparing for is the CQ Worldwide Single Sideband Contest, which is October 26th and 27th. The side benefit to both this contest and the CQ Worldwide CW contest at the end of November is the DX that you can work before and after the contest. As I mentioned, they're building their stations up and testing it, and then they're tearing it down a few days after the contest. After the contest, as I mentioned, they often hang around for a few days, enjoying the location, arranging their flight plans, and spending more casual time on the air. It is certainly a great time to fill band slots and to pick up an all-time new one. So keep your eyes and ears open. And what I really like about the CQ Worldwide tests is, sometimes you hear a call sign and you're not sure of the prefix or you're not sure where that person is really from. But when they give the exchange and it's, call sign and then a zone, you instantly know zone 23, zone 26, zone 16. You should know, or you will be familiar with what part of the world that zone is, and it's very likely there's a country in that zone that you need. So I like working DX in this contest because it's very quick to identify who's out there and what you need. Until next week, this is Bill, AJB, saying 7-3, and thanks to my XYL Karen for her love and support. I hope to hear you in the pileups. Have a great DX week.